One of the key messages in the 2025 Deloitte report is leaders must balance business and human outcomes, not as trade-offs, but as mutually reinforcing priorities. In other words, how your people experience your company equals how your brand performs in the market. Your leadership brand, your employee experience is your marketing. Let's be honest. Quite a few companies are still marketing like it was 2019. The future of work is no longer some distant trend. It's already here. Welcome to episode 200. I can't believe we're on episode 200 already. And what I can't believe either is that I'm recording this episode 200 and there's no celebratory hurrah around it. I just didn't notice. I forgot to celebrate it. But I want to say thank you to all of my listeners and watchers, viewers out there who have been on this journey with me since the day one when this podcast was still called Building a Modern Employer Brand. That's 200 episodes ago, and I'm so grateful that you're still here. I'm grateful that you have been listening, you have been vouching for this podcast and me, and all the lovely comments and feedback that I've received from you during these past couple of years with this podcast. Let's move forward. So, welcome to the episode 200, hurrah, of the Story Driven Business Podcast. I'm your host, Susanna Rantanen, author of Story Driven Employer Branding and creator of the Magnetic Employer Branding Method. And today, we're going to dig deep into what today's work and talent landscape demands of leaders and brands. And this is going to be based on the insights from Deloitte's 2025 Global Human Capital Trend Report. We'll talk about why your old marketing playbook isn't just outdated, it's actually holding you back. Then I'm going to show you how story-driven employer branding and specifically the Magnetic Employer Branding Method can help leaders thrive in this new era. Because here's the truth, if you keep marketing, branding, and leading like it's 2019, you will lose talent, trust, and relevance very fast. So let's dive in. Deloitte's 2025 Global Human Capital Trends Report makes one thing clear. The future of work is already here, and the future is human-centered, balancing well-being and performance. What I like to talk about in the modern work-to-life promise is how, as employers, we can make the lives of our employees better today and for their future. It's AI augmented, redefining roles, skills, and leaderships with the generative AI is happening already today. It's not the future of work anymore. It's here. It's the tool. I use it daily as well. Emotionally complex. As people seek purpose, meaning, and belonging, when the emotions are integrated in our life at work and outside the work, we need to be more empathetic as leaders. And this is something that I've been waiting to arrive to work life, the emotional aspect. And then it's narrative driven, where stories shape culture and behavior more than policies and procedures do. One of the report's key findings is that leaders must balance business and human outcomes, not as trade-offs, but as mutually reinforcing priorities. In other words, how your people experience your company equals how your brand performs in the market. Now, here's what I see many organizations doing still today. CEOs are very silent on culture, on the business, very silent in general in their key media. Talent campaigns feel corporate and staged. They are like advertisements, and not even from 2019, but like way earlier than that. Values on the wall are not reflected in those lived experiences. Marketing and HR are still operating silos. I'm going to say that things have drastically improved since I started as an entrepreneur in this business over 50 years ago. But still today, we are struggling with marketing, not understanding employer branding, but wanting to take over employer branding. Too many companies are chasing awareness when they should be building affinity. They are like in this awareness loop where nothing moves forward ever. Not their marketing, not their communication, not their story, and certainly not the talent journey. Campaigns are designed to impress investors and job boards instead of connecting with real humans inside and outside the company. Now, here's the disconnect. CEOs obviously want to scale faster, want to grow faster. HR wants to attract top talent like team leaders do too, and marketing wants visibility. But then they're using old tactics such as generic EVB campaigns, culture, slogans that don't match lived experiences, and creating talent videos that look like glossy ads. And I mean, if you think realistically, do you love advertisements? Those that are taking your space, your attention, your feed? I think you're not. So why do you think that your talent audiences do? The Deloitte report makes this very clear. The future of work is not just digital, it is human-centered. And I've been repeating this for ages, talking about human-to-human communication, human-to-human marketing, human-to-human employer branding. Branding needs to evolve too, from marketing-driven or campaign-driven to human-driven, from external-facing to experience-based, and from this non-ending control and polish to authentic story. I want to talk to you about why stories matter now more than they ever have. The future of work, according to Deloitte, is about balancing human performance with technology and strategy. Employees, yours too, really want clarity of the mission, emotional connection with the work they do, with each other, with the leadership, with the culture, with the clients and customers even. They want agency, they want purpose, they want stories they can believe in and belong to. And in this reality, people won't advocate for what they don't feel. Customers won't trust brands that sound fake. Talent won't stay in places that don't inspire them. And you don't actually have a brand if you look and sound like 100 other companies. Here's where modern employer branding can change the game. But I don't mean traditional EVP-driven branding because it's not equal to modern employer branding to me. I mean story-driven employer branding, as we do with the magnetic employer branding method. Why? Because this method helps organizations build emotional connection to a business strategy, show culture in action through stories, align leadership voice with employee experiences, turn values into behaviors employees can recognize and they can amplify, and create that brand affinity, not just awareness. Move that story loop forward and invite relevant talents in this talent journey with your company. Deloitte describes where employees' well-being, human experience, and AI coexist. Authentic story becomes the glue. It's what allows employees to understand change and see their place in the future, connect emotionally with the mission, and advocate for the brand, not because they're told to, but because they want to, because they believe in it, because it has become their mission. When organizations continue marketing like it's 2019, here's what happens. Talent disagrees because they can't see how leadership vision connects to their day-to-day. Top candidates walk away because brand stories feel generic, inauthentic, and irrelevant. And I wouldn't even use the word brand there then. A brand only exists if it generates emotions, feelings, about the object of the brand or the subject of the brand. Leaders lose trust because employees hear slogans but experience disconnect, and brand perception stagnates because polished campaigns don't reflect human reality. So what this leads to is obviously business performance suffering. In 2025 and beyond, human outcomes and business outcomes are intertwined. You need to make sure that the people who are actually crafting and delivering and creating and innovating your business mission and purpose, that's your people, that they are intertwined with your business strategy. And the story is the bridge. So let's talk about what can be won and the power of story-driven branding. So when companies embrace the shift and adopt story-driven employer branding, here's what is possible. First of all, employees feel connected to the strategy emotionally, not just intellectually. Culture becomes visible inside and outside the company. Leadership voice builds trust and alignment. People advocate for the brand organically, creating that magnetism in the market. Talent retention improves because employees feel that they belong. Innovation rises because aligned, trusted cultures empower that contribution. Customer trust grows because brands feel real, human, and consistent. And they also evoke those feelings in the customers because, surprise, they are human too. Ultimately, business performance improves because alignment drives those business results. Imagine that you as the CEO or the founder or the leader regularly share those leadership stories, those moments of learning, authentic moments capturing the values in action, not as PR or blunt sales messages, but as your experiences of your role in that story with your business. Employees posting their own stories, how the company's mission shows up in their work, and what does it mean to them? Candidates choosing your company over higher offers because they feel more connected to the story, and not just that, because story-driven employer branding has actually invited them to take part in that story. They understand their role. They see that they have a position and a place in your story. Customers share brand stories because they see the alignment between leadership, employees, and market promise. And this is the future Deloitte describes: a world where story is leadership and brand is culture in action. What does this shift require from leaders? Now, if you are a CEO, founder, or CMO, or CHR listening, here's what needs to change. Stop thinking of branding as campaigns. Start seeing it as your culture in action, like it was a document. Stop separating leadership voice from branding, because the CEO must be the chief storyteller. Stop outsourcing culture to HR. It's a leadership discipline where HR is the product owner, keeping you accountable for that leadership discipline. And stop chasing awareness, build affinity. Learn to evoke emotions in people. Show your empathy. Show your own emotions. That's how people can connect and see that those emotions are okay in the workplace. And stop telling people what your company values are. Show them, live them, and expect them to live it too. One of the key messages in the 2025 Deloitte report was that leaders must balance business and human outcomes, not as trade-offs, but as mutually reinforcing priorities. I want to keep repeating this because this is what's happening right now. In other words, how your people experience your company equals how your brand performs in the market. Your employer brand is your leadership culture and your leadership brand. Your employee experience is your marketing. So here are some practical steps for CEOs and founders and chief this and that, how to start with this. So you want to learn to lead with the story. Share your own vision, your own leadership moments and beliefs. Show empathy, show emotions, how you feel about the work that you do, how you feel about the vision, the mission, and the values in action. Align culture and strategy. Use modern tools like the Modern Work to Life promises and key story themes in my method. Make marketing human, and not just marketing, but communication too. Stop doing one-way communication, do human-to-human communication, and then distribute that also as marketing messages. Replace those produced content with stories from employees, leadership, customers, and then embed narrative leadership. Get leadership aligned to one shared story. That's very important. What is the story? If your company was a movie, what would be that story that you're all vouching for and living? Balance human and business outcomes. Show how people thrive, because that's how the business wins. If you keep marketing like it's 2019, you lose trust, you lose talent, and you lose brand relevance. But when you adapt, you attract aligned talent, you build lasting customer trust, and you lead a company where story drives your momentum. In Deloitte's words, the future of work is human first and story driven. In today's market, employees won't stay where they feel disconnected. Customers won't buy from brands they don't trust, and talent won't join companies that they feel stuck in the past. But when you as a leader evolve, alignment deepens, advocacy grows, and business performance follows. Let's talk about the key takeaways from this episode. The future of work is here, and it's human-centered. Old marketing won't build trust or relevance. You have to change and adapt to how people are expected to be communicated to in 2025 and beyond. Storytelling is now a leadership discipline. Story-driven employer branding aligns culture, leadership, and market. Brand affinity equals business ROI, driving real business outcomes. The time to shift your brand strategy is now. Your decision on the next steps will impact all of your human stakeholders, the people you employ, who've been chosen to lead your people and business, and those who you want to buy from your business. If you want your company to thrive in the future of work, you must market and lead for the world we live in now. That world isn't built on slogans, it's built on story. If you want to learn how to lead with story, you really must get my book, Story-Driven Employer Branding. It's available on Amazon as well as storydrivenemployerbranding.com. My name is Susanna Rantanen, and this is Story-Driven Business Podcast. Until next time, keep leading with story.